People who have the guts to ask their crush out. What happened afterwards? He said he wasn't looking for a girlfriend but he was interested if it was sex only. I politely declined. Well, at least he was honest about it. She said yes and we went out to dinner and saw a movie together. Dropping her off, we kissed on her parents' front porch for what seemed like forever. Her dad thought so too because he started flicking the porch lights on and off. Good times. I realized I developed crushes easily and had pretty bad taste. Haha, I got rejected and now it's awkward sometimes. She just said yes. I thought you'd never ask. And then smiled and hugged me. We went to the movies. We went out on a date and I learned she was not the one for me after all. But it was a good lesson and had I not asked her out I just agonized over what might have been. She said she wants to go out on a date. One led to 2, 3, etc. Sunday I'm gonna try and kiss her after our concert. Eat plenty of beans before the date and bring beans for her to eat too. Bitches love beans. I Saturday next to her in the university cafeteria. It was really awkward. Then one of her friends came by and made it more so. Turns out we were both really shy, but had a mutual interest in geekery like sci-fi. We've been married 15 years now. Asked mine out today. Have a date on Friday. I actually asked her to a dance and she said no. Half a year later I asked another crush to a dance and she said no. Then half a year after that I asked a different crush to the dance and guess what? She said yes. I was so confused I wasn't used to that answer. Rejected and worse. He bullied me all through high school. I dated her for 8 years, then married her. 2 years strong marriage last week. If you ask your crush out, the worst that happens is you're embarrassed for a couple days. The reward, however, has the potential to be life-changing. I just recently got my first ever crush. It is really hard for me to develop feelings for someone as I need to know this person very good. I know her for more than 2 years now and we never were more than just school friends. The last holidays though, we suddenly did more and more together with other friends and I developed feelings for her. Then after we had been at a friend's house and slept there after a movie night with 6 people in one room. But I did share this bed with my crush. She liked me. I did not know and we drank a bit and cuddled before on the sofa while watching movies for a bit. We cuddled the whole night and I asked her out the next day. She said yes and we are now in a relationship. I am beyond happy. She punched me in the arm and said, "F yeah." Then we went on the most awkward nerd date because we just wanted to like each other. It was a good nerd date. We are still dating to this day. She said no. But, not a hard no. I'm not interested, just I already have other plans or something similar. The same thing the next time I asked her. Repeat for 18 times. The 19th time she went out with me. By the 4th date or so we were talking in terms of when we get married. That was 46 years ago. Married for 43 years now. More in love than ever. She's sitting next to me in our apartment playing Minecraft. Never thought she'd actually be interested in me. I guess I was selling myself short. Do it op. Could be the best thing you ever do. My sophomore, her junior year of college, we got introduced through mutual friends and hit it off. We started hanging out at parties we both went to, in the coffee shop at my school, doing homework, all that. We didn't really seek each other out, just kept running into each other because of our mutual friend groups. This went on for a month. We'd hang out and chat and flirt jokingly. I didn't think I had a chance with her being a pretty, popular girl a year older than me, so I figured she was just being nice, returning my jokes, and all it turns out, she didn't think she had a chance with me and also thought I was just being nice, friendly with my jokes. Her and her friends would always joke, "When will I be with you, thermal climber? He's the light of my life," and so I didn't think of it as any less of a fun joke when she did it. One night we both went out to a bar party with a group of friends and ended up going home with different people. We were chatting about it the next day and I was like, this hurts a little. Is this feelings? A couple days later she mentioned that the guy wanted to grab lunch with her, and she wasn't sure she was into him the same way. I was walking her home and thought that if I didn't say something I'd regret it. So I gambled that maybe all that joking, flirting from her was real, told her I had feelings for her, and then spent the longest 5 seconds of my life waiting to hear "I'm glad you said something, because I like you too." It's been 2.5 years and we're still going strong. I have a tip for everyone who finds it difficult to ask out people they're interested in. Ask them out before you get too attached. Then if they say no, it's not devastating. If they say yes, you get this time to get to know them, and you can break it off if you decide you're actually not interested. If you have to see them often and you're worried they might treat you differently, just say "I just wanted to explore my options with you" if they turn you down. Don't let them think you were in love with them or something like that. Good luck. We're getting married on Saturday. She said yes. Asked her out on a second date. Specifically said the word date this time. She said she didn't know we were going out on dates. Oh well. He refused me, politely telling me he's actually male. I thought he was a girl. She said yes. We got married and had kids. Coming up on 15 years together. I was an idiot and told him that I wanted to include him in my harem, and he got confused but then realized I just confessed my feelings for him. Cue the "oh shit I liked you too, you're so pretty" and me freaking out, because I didn't think I'd get this far. He then stopped me and said we weren't gonna date yet, BC he had issues, he wanted to sort it. 3 months later, a lot of romantic tension, and we began dating. Now, we're a month away from our first anniversary. We met on Tinder, and after about a month or so of seriously talking and hanging out, we were laying in bed about to fall asleep and I asked him to be my boyfriend. The next morning we talked about it and he said he thought it was in a dream that I asked, but still stood by his answer 100%. That was 8 months ago and we are still happily dating. He came out to me, I was very surprised, and he seemed very scared to tell anyone. I was the first person he had ever come out to, and he was terrified. I helped him through the process of eventually coming out to his extremely religious parents, who accepted it very well. He's now in an amazing relationship and one of my closest friends. She really wanted to but was busy. We dated. He was the head chef where I worked and I was new in town. We always Saturday in the same booth during our breaks and got to know each other over the course of a month and found out we had a lot in common. One night before I left I wrote my number down to give it to him and to ask him out. We asked each other, "Do you wanna hang out?" at the same time, and then blushed. Our first date was at a rooftop bar celebrating a coworker's birthday. He asked me if he could kiss me. That's when I knew he was the one. Now, years later, we have a beautiful baby boy that we love more than each other. He still has my phone number in his wallet. Rejection. When I first asked her out, we knew each other for about 4 months. She blocked off though, but didn't specifically say no. I asked her out a second time 3 months later, but she blocked off again, telling me she wasn't sure whether it was okay to meet. I continued flirting with her, but eventually started chasing her. Once I realized my mistake and that she stopped showing interest, I stopped chasing her and flirting with her. I didn't show any interest whatsoever for the next 8 months and just acted the same friendly way I acted towards friends. I had basically given up on her, although I was still kinda interested. I just didn't show that I was still interested. Eventually, over a year after I asked her out the second time, she apologized for blocking me off, told me she made a mistake and asked me whether I still wanted to meet up with her. I told her I didn't mind, and now we've been dating for 4 months. I guess sometimes it's really difficult for two socially awkward people to start dating each other. She had someone else in mind but it didn't pan out. She said no, she didn't like me that way. I said okay, that's cool. We're still friends, but she's taking some space to figure some things out. Got told we should hang out as friends in a very condescending and disinterested way. In time you will find that was a good thing. You will find someone who will make you really glad you are free to pursue them. Well, we've had someone ghost me, a bunch of standard rejection, me up terribly with one person in particular and never getting the chance again. And one person admit that they were interested in someone else. Got rejected. Became her friend. Met up for drinks after college 7 years later and wound up married to my best friend. Focused on myself and became a better version of me. Wild how attractive that can make you. We're still together 15 years later. Happy and in love. Apparently I was the catch. But didn't realize. I've had multiple crushes. All of them rejected me and never talked to me again. Not exactly my story, as it is his. But when I was in high school I had this huge crush on this guy in my friend group, gamers, nerds, outcasts, etc. starting from the 9th grade. He was seriously the funniest person I had ever met, and he was so cool because of it. All my female friends would tell me to just ask him out, but I couldn't because I was so afraid he would say no and make fun of me for the rest of my high school experience. In my junior year he left to go to a different school, but we still kept in touch because his cousin, who also went to the school, became my best friend to this day. She had managed to give me his number, and after mustering up the courage to text him, he was actually engaged in conversations with me, even though I was lanky and gross. Then the texting fell off and we grew distant in our senior year. One day my bestie had a family event at her house and my crush was there. We all had such a good time and I realized that my feelings, which had merely been in hibernation, were back and stronger than ever, but he was probably too cool to notice me. Later that day after I went home he messaged me, told me he really liked me, and wanted to date. We dated for almost a year before I had to leave for college and up my life entirely. Moral of the story is ask them out. 'Cause maybe they'll say yes. If this blows up I'll ask mine. Turns out she liked me. I got a huge no into my face. Now I'm dating her twin sister. Just kidding about the twin sister, sadly. Every time I have a crush on someone but realize they are also into me, I start finding flaws in them that makes me not like them anymore. Accept that all the people you will ever date will be imperfect, much like yourself, and that's okay. She said no. I was mopey for a bit. Then I signed up for online dating and we went back to being friends. I eventually wound up dating someone who made a lot more sense for me anyway. So far I've been rejected a couple of times. But I've had one where I dated him a couple months until we friend-zoned. I'd like to think that I'm not at the moment in life where I'm supposed to be with someone, and that it'll come sometime in the future. I confessed to my crush at a homecoming rally. He said I know. That was it. He recently came out and I'm happy for him. Doing the classic Han Solo. What a power move. She told me I'm too short. Little of an ego crusher. Bippity boppity boo, I got rejected. You've got this op. Always remember, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. While it's easy to overthink such matters, try to focus on the here and now, rather than the negative, invasive thoughts. We craft our own realities. Op. You're capable of anything. I lost my job as a kindergarten teacher. We've been dating for close to 3 years. Bought our first house this summer and in planning on proposing soon. I go to a cafe and the barista is a grade A cutie pie. I just broke up out of a soul-sucking relationship 3 months ago that had lasted 7 years and 5 years longer than it should have. We talked often after work for me and shared similar tastes in music, if not an appreciation for all music, appreciation for film, and discussed much of it, even suggested some movies to each other to watch, and shot sarcastic comments back and forth. I mustered the courage to ask her to go pumpkin carving last weekend and she said she would love to. She asked the next day if I'd liked her out because she had a surprise day of work off. We had a 4-hour conversation at a cafe downtown and then went on a 2-hour walk. Came back to the car holding hands. In all of my life I've never really done that. She said she wanted to not get into a relationship like that quickly and I agreed. Drove her home and gave each other a hug goodbye. She asked if Kay wanted to come over that next Friday evening and cook dinner and watch some scary movies. We did and it was great. Watching people get chainsawed in half had the desired effect, I believe. because I ended up crawling into her arms and squeezing her palms. Watched the next movie and just ended up essentially hugging the entire time and scratching each other's head. Time to go. And I go to give her a kiss on the cheek goodnight. But she goes for the lips instead. We laugh. 2 nights later and we spend Sunday all together and go thrift store shopping. Too much rain for the planned pumpkin carving. 6 hours later, I walk her to her car and we look into each other's eyes. I go in for the real deal kiss and she does too. That was yesterday. I feel a happiness inside I haven't felt inside in years. We are extremely blunt and to the point with each other. Much of the dialogue between us in the above story is this way. I like her because she makes me want to take care of myself and to be myself. I feel like exercising and studying, reading again for the first time in years all of the sudden. It has only been little more than a week. And I am hesitant to out labels to this right now. In fact, I don't know why I'm even sharing this. I can tell she is very special to me. And that's all that matters, I suppose. You never know who you will discover behind a face until you talk to them. This has most definitely affected me for the better, even if it does not end in the ideal manner. My only hope is that my old habits do not resurface and hurt this.